Alright, in the next 10 minutes we're going to be talking about all the wild weather that's going to be happening across the US throughout the rest of this week, including the low pressure system that's going to be moving through the Midwest into the Northeast. That's basically going to have just a trail of severe weather going all the way from the south in Louisiana all the way up into Maine. There's also some extreme fire danger going on in the desert Southwest, so we're going to take a look at that as well. So let's first start with what started this morning and is happening right now. There's this low that is just sitting off the coast of Massachusetts, and this is bringing some really dreary, rainy, cold conditions to the Northeast. You can see some spots in southern Vermont, most of New Hampshire, and then some places in Maine getting some snow with this associated with this low pressure system. It's not too much snow, but for late April, not bad. I think most people in the Northeast are probably ready for it to just be 70 degrees. Enough with winter. We've had enough snow. Let's get to the warm weather. Well, we got one more system right here that's bringing some snow, and then we have another system that's going to be moving throughout the rest of this week. So that was about 1 a.m. this morning. You can see by 7 a.m. around this time, still getting some snow into Maine and northern New Hampshire, while parts of New York a little bit warmer, so they're more in the rain precipitation. And then moving into 1 p.m. today for the Northeast, you can see this low, it's just hanging out. Normally, these lows just move through and it's gone within, 6 hours. From one map to the other, it'll be gone. This one, still hanging out right off the coast of Massachusetts where it was 18 hours earlier, still just hanging out right there, still bringing some snow to northern New Hampshire, western Maine, rain to Massachusetts and New York. And then you see moving into tonight at about 7 p.m., that low is still hanging out there, still bringing snow to the same colder places in Maine, northern New Hampshire, and then the rain starts to ease up for New York. When is that low finally gone? It's gonna move out over tonight into Tuesday morning. That low finally leaves. We get a few scattered showers throughout early Tuesday morning and throughout the day Tuesday. And then moving into Wednesday, this is when we see the second system start to show up. Now you can see it, or let's first look at the snow you're gonna get with that low that's just sitting off the coast. You can see there's actually some decent accumulations in New Hampshire, up to 8 inches in some places. That's higher elevation. And then New York getting a little bit too, maybe 5 inches in the very high elevation, coldest bullseye places in New York, while majority of Maine should be seeing about 2 to 4 inches. And then western parts of the state into that 5 to 8 inch range. It's some snow, it's late April, can't complain here, but I think you're just like me, you're ready for it to just be warm weather already. So the next system that's going to be coming throughout the rest of the week really has to do with this trough that we're going to see building in to, it's what you call a full latitude trough. It goes basically through the entire US, and you'll see it start to fill in here. Right here, you'll notice that the winds on the left side of this trough are a lot more extreme than the right side, and these isobars are closer together. That typically tells you that the trough is going to get deeper, and it's what you call a digging trough. It's going to get deeper, stronger, more powerful, and bring some exciting weather. And moving forward here, you see that's exactly what happens. This trough really deepens out, going all the way from Minnesota to Louisiana, basically. And this is what's going to be bringing exciting weather to basically the entire eastern half of the country throughout this week. This is now Thursday. You can see this trough has almost formed a giant cutoff low, and it's going to be bringing some extreme winds to the Northeast. So even though the jet stream is way up in the atmosphere, some of that energy is going to propagate down. And basically when you have a trough like this that is what you'd call meridional, straight north to south, that is when you get some extreme weather. And we're going to see this first in the Midwest, where you see that low that's associated with this trough as it's first starting to form, bringing some rain to Minnesota. And then watch as this low just intensifies. Right here, See, it's something. You see some rain. It doesn't look all that interesting or intense. And then right here, that band starts to pull all the way into Texas. And what this is doing is the winds will be pulling in from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing in a ton of warm, moist air to fuel this system. You can see that it's getting fueled as that severe weather, heavy rainfall rates really start to pop over the southeast. And then the band of rainfall goes all the way up into the Midwest and then really just spreads out and intensifies, moving into Wednesday, into Thursday. It almost does like a little backwards loop back into the Midwest, and then has this strip of heavy rainfall going from Pennsylvania all the way down to Florida. The low, like the one we're seeing this morning, doesn't just move through, it really hangs out. This is now moving into Friday, and it's still just over Indiana and Ohio. It has barely moved at all. And you got this strip going along the entire East Coast where we're probably going to be seeing some severe thunderstorms, some heavy rainfall, maybe some hail, hopefully not tornadoes, but it's going to be something to watch all week long as that low finally moves into the Northeast and is gone by Saturday. So it's really just one system driving the weather for this entire week. It's that one trough, that one low that's just going to continue to pull in moisture and warm air from the Gulf of Mexico, just feeding the system as it brings interesting weather to the Midwest, Northeast, and Southeast through this entire week. So let's check it out in the Midwest as it first moves in at about Tuesday at 7 a.m. You can see it right there. And again, it doesn't look all that intense at this point. There's some rain, not really heavy rainfall rates at all. And then moving into Tuesday at about 1 p.m., still doesn't look all that intense. We got this one little band where that might be a severe thunderstorm, but that's more in the 0.2 inches per hour range. Not all that crazy. Right here, this is now Tuesday at 7 p.m. I said that kind of weird. Tuesday at 7 p.m., this is when that low is able to start pulling in some warm air and moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, and that's when we start seeing these heavier rainfall rates building in through the Midwest. That's about 0.4 inches per hour of rain, and then that's going to have some heavy winds associated with it, really bringing some exciting weather to the Midwest throughout Tuesday night into Wednesday. And then let's see if we can see that point where, yeah, right here you see the low. It looks like it's going to start moving into the Northeast, and then it almost hops backwards, does like a second little circle into the Midwest, and then finally moves into the Northeast on Friday. So that low really hanging out in the Midwest basically from Tuesday to Friday. It's also going to be bringing some exciting weather to the Northeast, though, as you saw in that view of the entire lower 48. The rain really first shows up in the Northeast early Thursday morning, late Wednesday night. We start getting light rainfall in western Pennsylvania, western New York, and then you can see those heavier rainfall rates starting to build into central Pennsylvania throughout the day Thursday, really starting Thursday morning. We get some of those heavier rainfall rates, and then those build into New York by about 7 p.m. on Thursday night, or really 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're going to start seeing this band of severe thunderstorms, possibly some heavy rainfall, really start to build in. That's the point where it's going all the way down from New York to Florida, that organized strip, just affecting basically the entire eastern half of the country. As that low moves into the Northeast, then we get these heavy rates all along the East Coast. And earlier how I was talking about it fills in warm air and moist air from the Gulf of Mexico, at this point it's going to be bringing in some warm moist air from the Gulf Stream. So that's going to further fuel this system as it affects the Northeast. And then it's finally gone on Saturday. So it's important to see what it's doing in the Southeast as well. That's where we've been having a ton of tornadoes. So whenever you have a severe weather threat, that's something to look out for, especially in the Southeast. First shows up by early Wednesday morning at about 7 a.m. Start getting those heavy rainfall rates through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. And then that band really just organizes. It tightens up, really just pushes all its power into this one strip that's going to be bringing heavy rainfall throughout Alabama and Georgia throughout Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then that strip just moves across the Southeast like a wave, going into Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida throughout Thursday, and then it's really gone on Friday. You can see that heavy rain, the severe thunderstorms, has moved off the coast at that point. One thing, so there's tornadoes to worry about. The other thing to worry about is possibly some flooding. And if we move through the 24-hour accumulated precip, you can see there's going to be places that pick up an inch and a half of rain. So that could create some flash flooding in some places. It's something to watch out for, especially in central Alabama. That's where we really see the majority of the rainfall. That's where that really heavy strip of rain was falling. Inch and a half of rain in 24 hours could definitely lead to some flash flooding. So that's another thing we're going to have to look out for throughout this week. Now, the other big story going on this week, and this is my favorite kind of story to follow because it's wildfire. That's my specialty. It's what I'm into. And it's actually what I'm going to graduate school, getting my master's, learning about fire weather. And we have some extreme wildfire conditions going on in the desert Southwest associated with this ridge that you see is just going to continue to build in throughout Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, probably into Friday. On Friday it starts to move off a little bit, but that ridge is going to be bringing extremely high temperatures, record high temperatures most likely, for parts of eastern California and really parts of Arizona, New Mexico, southern Nevada. Real extreme wildfire danger in this region right here. So this is showing at about 10 a.m. You can see it's already 95 degrees in this area. And you can see that's just the start of it. As we move through the day today, we get into the 100 degrees, 102 degrees, 100 degrees in Phoenix. And then you'd hope that that would just move across the country, give us some relief. But the trend of the weather this week is just staying put and sitting over a location for multiple days. So moving into Tuesday, it actually is going to get hotter. You can see we get 104 degrees, 102 degrees in Yuma, Phoenix still 100, Indio 104. So whenever you get extreme temperatures like that, you're going to get extreme wildfire danger. The good news is the winds don't look all that extreme. They might be able to channel through some mountain ranges and some valleys, but the winds don't look too crazy. The three things you got to watch out for in wildfire is extreme temperatures. We got that. That is a check. The other one you want to watch out for that can really spread fire and just rapid development is extreme winds. Luckily, it doesn't look too windy. The third aspect is water vapor and moisture in the air. Unfortunately, that box is getting ticked as well. You can see in the eastern half of the country, we got these greens. That's like 70% humidity. That is a moist atmosphere. And even in the northeast, where we're still getting some rain and snow, you can see it's almost 90 to 100% relative humidity. Down in the desert Southwest, we're into these dark browns where you're looking at maybe 10% humidity into the single digits for relative humidity. That is extremely dry and is a major component that can lead to extreme wildfires. So that's what we're watching. We got severe weather associated with a big trough moving through the Midwest, Southwest, or Southeast and Northeast. That's the exciting weather for the eastern half of the country. Mostly heavy rainfall. We're not going to get snow with that one, but heavy rain is definite for basically all those locations. And then the opposite kind of weather is happening in the western half of the US. We get extremely warm temperatures, really dry air, no rain whatsoever, and extreme wildfire potential. So we got some exciting weather happening this week. I'm going to keep you guys updated on it. I make weather forecast videos every single morning. So if you felt like you learned something in this video and you want to learn more in the future, you can subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching.